I found a rather interesting Japanese shop on Facebook. They go by Guitar Station in English, and despite a pretty basic website, I think you guys are going to like what I saw. And we're going to start with this Les Paul. I've had this particular one saved in my We Need to Talk About It pile for a year, and every time I see it, I just can't help but fall in love. What a fantastic quilt top. Quilts come in many different forms, and this one is just a little bit less typical than usual. It's chaotic. Like, look at all the circles within the wood grain making eye formations. I mean, just everywhere. And then you get that really deep, rigid quiltiness going on over here. And that's before you even look at the finish being more of a dark purple / blue on the edge, and then a washed out purple in the center. But they've outfitted it with gold hardware. We've got the ABR1 bridge. So I was thinking this might be some sort of a 1959 reissue with a unique top and hardware choice. But now, look at this fretboard. It's Trini Lopez in style, or Dave Grohl, however you want to spin your influences there. I also think about this style inlay with the Gibson US1 and other super strats, so it works perfect with the colorations. But as far as the rest of the guitar, if we zoom in here, it looks like we might have Golden Grover tuners. Does appear to be reissue in style because of the plastics that are used for our truss rod cover. Now, unfortunately, these are the only two photos that I have to go off of on this one. I would imagine the back might be a bluish hue and not be bursted like a 70s style, but who knows? This was part of a 2024 summer exhibition series that this shop was doing. So unfortunately, everything we're going to talk about tonight has already previously been sold, so don't reach out to the shop, but they do have other cool stuff in stock. But that is one seriously sweet reissue 59, especially because usually when they do these inlays, from what I've seen, it's mother of pearl on most of the models. So to see the inlays be crafted out of the 59 material was a nice touch. The next one they've got reminds me of a 2018 run of guitars, but it's a 3-colored sunburst, I guess you could say. So we go from a red to an orange and eventually out into a gray. I would imagine that speaks to somebody who hates all the traditional offerings, but loves the specs of a reissue Les Paul. That 2018 run I was talking about is called Transgeode Fade. This one's a blue into a greenish and then another similar gray color. But this one was offered within the Rock Top series. It's one that definitely needs to be documented one day when I can find the right one at the right price. Or perhaps if you live near a volcano, you'll like these colors. It reminds me of like a magma fade, going from molten to hardened. Oh man, it seems we just can't escape this one. Now obviously this photo's been a little bit edited to really bring out that top, but man, it looks cool. I found that while researching our next one, which is a rather unique Flying V custom. Now I'm curious about your guys' thoughts here. Wooden pick guards, they're cool, right? But does it work with the silver burst finish and then not also complementing your output jack by also making it wooden? I'd say the main draw on this one is that it actually left Gibson stock, the custom shop, not the mod collection, guys, with this wooden flamed pickguard. Perhaps it would have looked better with a more striking trans silver finish. I think it's just the slightly see-through ebony doesn't match with the rest of the ebony. But if you're still in the mood for something different, how about this one? I'm a bit conflicted, but I think I'm leaning more towards I do like this. So we have a really dull, faded out sunburst with a little bit of burnt orange going on here, getting close to boneyard vibes. However, just in like the arm resting and picking area, they give it a black border, whereas like the rest has been completely faded. Like there is a real burst out there that theoretically, if it was shaded in this area only, that could have retained that. So even though it's highly unlikely, it is slightly palatable within the realms of history. I could see these being popular with a very select demographic. But you can follow these guys on Facebook. I'm sure they might have Instagram too, but they're part of the IKEBE brand of stores, IKEBE, where a lot of these photos are coming from their trips to Nashville to hand pick out the tops and spec out their own custom orders. So this is a big operation. So, I mean, if you happen to be local in Japan, maybe check these guys out because they certainly have some cool guitar. Oh, keep finding more and more so you can appreciate the wood grain in a different way, but will we see the back? No. They just went on to their other ones. But hey, here's a closer look at their blue one. Reminds me of the Goro Yudo signature, just a lot darker. But these are much better photos of that Flying V, because now we can actually tell it's got the aged finish on top of that. So you can imagine that's probably like a $12,000 guitar with all that. One other one I saw in their inventory that sold, a Redburst reissue. It's like one of the Les Paul Slash models, except for custom shop produced. That's probably why they ended up making this thing. I understand the black plastics helps tie in the theme, but I still would like to see this done up with cream as well. But we still have time left tonight, so let's go ahead and look at some of the other ones in their inventory. So here's a photo of what looks like, again, another reissue of a 59-ish style as well as a 1956. This one reminds me of that double cut that we had reviewed, just without the double cutawation. But this trans purple is a lot lighter in hue and has this interesting slightly diagonal flame top, whereas this side, from this particular photo angle, doesn't look like it matches well, but it appears that it does have a matching reverse chevron flame pattern to it. But what I like is this appears to be a TV white back, so the white and purple, that's a cool combo. Especially when you look at your fretboard, it's also multi-toned. Here we have a interesting Stratocaster. I don't think this is Fender branded, it's probably some boutique thing that plays great. But it appears to at least have a quilty maple top, if not the entire body. I cannot get along with that pickguard design. It just makes it look so strange. But cool colors. But after looking at that headstock, I think I can get along with the pickguard, but not up there. It's a James Tyler brand. We can cleanse our palette with a nice sparkle blue Stratocaster. Looks like custom shop. However, it's got a little bit of a secret. Outside of just the finish, look closely at that neck. It's bound. That's fun. You don't see that every day in Stratocaster land. And I would say this particular guitar, since it's extra flashy in its finish, it makes sense. We just need to throw some gold frets on it. It nearly looks like it has that. And then flipping on over to the back, we get some flame figuring within that neck too. I can't tell, is it gold hardware or not? It might just be aged. And here's a photo of a couple of the employees picking up one of the Stradivarius Telecasters. I came close to getting one for review, but it just never happened. But it's a Tele built like a violin. And I like Yuri back here. He's all proud of his work. He's like, hey guys, I hope you enjoy this guitar. He looks sad for some reason. Like, I don't want to have to sell this. But their page has more photos with the other Fender master builders. Stuff like this goes a long way in helping paint the story of a guitar if you're a shop selling the stuff. Because let's just say these master builds are not cheap guitars. Sometimes you need something to, speak to your emotions. And the guy who primarily built it with a photo of it definitely helps. They've got similar photos at other factories as well, but take a look at this PRS. That's an interesting black into yellow staining job. We were talking about the Boneyard Les Paul earlier. That's kind of similar to it, maybe a little bit more accented and extreme. But what's nice about this one is we've got the natural faux binding effect. So they just scrape away the paint on the edge so the flame maple can peek through as binding. Looks like they did a similar process for the binding of the neck. It's real wood. But the real kicker on this one is not just all that and the abalone inlays, all the other nice shell. It also has a really nice back with figured mahogany here and probably other various woods. But look at that headstock. Gets extra fancy with a wooden truss rod cover doing it right this time. And the continuation of everything we saw everywhere else with the matching headstock, wooden pickup rings, and the premium PRS logo. And you know what? I feel kind of bad picking on that Tyler guitar earlier. So here's a different Stratocaster take from another boutique manufacturer that I find quite attractive. So it's a very dark blue burst with a very light black border to it. Dual humbucker setup this time with no pickguard. But similar to that PRS we were just peeping at, it's got that natural binding to it. Now, if I wanted to get nitpicky, I think I would prefer it as a hardtail. But look at our headstock on this one. It's Sir branded. It's really hard to design a unique headstock because it's all ingrained in our heads what a headstock should look like. And then companies fight about who can use what. So all things considered, it's an attractive design. But I really like this. It appears to be maybe an ash body, something similar. But it is a set neck construction. And it's so effortless and smooth. There are some Fender models done up like that as well. But where they really take the cake is it goes from blue to a light yellow, and then orange. It's a nice fade finish onto the back of the neck. And if you also think that might be cool, you might enjoy watching this episode next. The Ormsby Fan Fret Multi-Scaled Shark Guitar. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. We've got an interesting one here today from Ormsby Guitars. The very first Ormsby guitar is nicknamed The Vine. It just has some beautifully figured woods and has a bunch of inlays. But now this company offers both custom shop guitars that he and his team builds, as well as production level instruments. Alright, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.